जोरदार तालियों के साथ स्वागत करेंगे और साथ ही साथ मैं इनवाइट करना चाहूंगी द को चेयरमैन ऑफ दिस सेशन है श्री मनोज कुमार शुक्ला जी, सीनियर प्रिंसिपल साइंटिस्ट, CRRI। सर, बहुत स्वागत है आपका मंच पर। और 8, 9, 10, 11 ये 4 दिन आप सभी छत्तीसगढ़ में है। तो कल कल की रात जो जो बाहर से आए हैं, कैसी रही? कैसा लगा मौसम, खाना? जितना सुना था उससे कितना अलग है छत्तीसगढ़? हालांकि अभी एक ही दिन हुआ है, आज दूसरा दिन अभी यहाँ तक है हम। उसके बाद फिर आपको एक्सप्लोर करने का शायद मौका मिले। हालांकि 11 तारीख तक बहुत कुछ एक्सप्लोर करेंगे, क्योंकि हम जिस जगह होते हैं उसके बारे में और जानते हैं, लेकिन बहुत अलग है जितना सुना है उसके बारे में, छत्तीसगढ़ के बारे में खास तौर पर। और अब मैं बुलाना चाहूंगी श्री BS बघेल जी को, जो कि चीफ इंजीनियर हैं, PWD दुर्ग छत्तीसगढ़। स्वागत करेंगे चेयरमैन और को चेयरमैन सर का। सर, स्वागत है आपका। श्री BS बघेल जी।
थैंक यू।
और अब मैं मंच पर इनवाइट करना चाहूंगी मिस जूलियट, क्लाइंट एंगेजमेंट स्पेशलिस्ट, ऑस्ट्रेलियन नेशनल ट्रांसपोर्ट रिसर्च ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। मैं बुलाना चाहूंगी प्रोफेसर PK सिकदर जी को, फॉर्मर डायरेक्टर CSIR CRRI इंडिया। मैं बुलाना चाहूंगी श्री ग्रैनी R जयलाथा जी, जो स्पेशल प्लानर हैं, ट्रांसपोर्ट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर RDA श्रीलंका। मैं बुलाना चाहूंगी डॉक्टर धर्मवीर सिंह जी, प्रोफेसर सिविल इंजीनियरिंग डिपार्टमेंट, IIT बॉम्बे। और मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी अब चेयरमैन और को चेयरमैन सर से कि सर conduct the session. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. This is the last session. I am sure people are tired, and hopefully other delegates will join us another 5 minutes. Chai chal because last session has just completed. People have gone, so maybe they are shifting from one session to the another one. I think it is a good opportunity for all the delegates. Uh, we all know a lot of highway construction work is going on in our country for the last 25, 30 years. And we have, you know, uh, are at present using almost all the state of the art technology, equipment, which is available anywhere in the world. And it will be good at the moment to listen to some experts from other countries also and from our own country about their experience that whatever we are doing, how we can further improve the quality and progress of our infrastructure development. So with that, uh, I would like to first invite Miss Juliet. uh, she's a client engagement specialist, Australian National Transport Research Organization, Australia. So, madam, you have 20 minutes for your presentation. Thank you.
I can assure you this is not the same screen that I can see on my laptop and it works. Is my own? Oh, no, 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 not trying to. Oh, no, no, not duplicate. Can I have it expand, please? No, no. Can I have it expand, not duplicate? What? No, can I have it expand? Just a quick scroll. जो ऐसे चीज होता है तो उसका चीज होता है तो ये अच्छी मेमोरी चीज बनाते हैं और इसका कैसे प्रोजेक्ट को एग्जीक्यूट करना है use your
Yeah, dunia है बहुत दाव. चाहे सिंह चीज
Expand, please. Otherwise, have my speaker notes.
दुनिया लगेगी.
No, no, I need other. हमारे खुद के यूज कर रहे हैं.
Contact with contract extension of teams, changes, technical चीजें. अभी तो आपके संजय देरवाल को भी नहीं है. तो हम किसी भी लेवल आया हुआ है उसको छत्तीसगढ़ किया. यह सही तो. तो सर वो ऑफिशियली आते रहता है या ऑफिशियली रोल पे आ जाओ. On this note. फिर इसमें ऐसा कुछ होता है क्या कि वो टाइम लिमिट होता है कोई उसी में जनरल गवर्नमेंट का है अब वो सीआरआई स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स में आता है. अच्छा हमारा सर ऑटोनॉमस है. तो हाँ इसका हाँ तो सब सीआरआई में कितना टाइम रह गया. सीआरआई में 6 साल है सर अभी से. ओ ये टाइम से
So it looks like my session has now run out of time. So, but no. So today I'm here to speak about Australian road owners embracing big data to support better decision making. My name is Juliet Fox. I am from the National Transport Research Organisation. And this video is meant to have sound, but doesn't look like it's going to have sound. So as you might know, we're the Australian Road Research Board. We were previously also known as ARRB, and since then we have gone through a transformation and are now known as the National Transport Research Organisation. This change was to coincide with the Australian government and state road owners, as they have now also transitioned to a transport focus departments. So as I was mentioning, these are our stakeholders, both the federal, Australian and New Zealand government, as well as state and local. A part of this, the Australian Road Research Board, now known as NTRO, are a not-for-profit government-owned enterprise. We are part of a global network. This includes TRL from the UK, BAST from Germany, TRB in the USA, Rio, which is the from China, IFSTA in France, and also VTI in Sweden. We are hoping to soon also include CRRI as a part of this network. And being a part of this allows us to share research, compatible technologies in other countries, and so that we don't duplicate our research. NTRO is structured in a way where we are multimodal. We focus on road, rail, ports, and airports, but we are not siloed into these teams. So our teams it's okay. So what that means is we have a vision statement to lead the world in innovative transport solution. And this is a very big challenge. However, we are ready for this challenge. Part of the reason why we're here today is our joint venture with IRSM. We have been in partnership with them here in India for 15 years. And what that means is we are able to bring Australian expertise to India. And this is, we regularly collaborate between our two organizations. Our teams visit annually. And this is a photo actually from 2022 where our teams were at a showcase demonstrating our NSV technology. So back to the original topic, which is Australian road owners embracing big data to support better decisions. So at NTRO, we are structured in a way where we believe in your data life cycle. And from one of the earlier sessions, it was about, and a very thing about having good quality data. Because if you have garbage in, you will have garbage out. And so you need to have a reputable source and a trusted partner to collect your data. So the infrastructure management is step one. And again, I mentioned quality data. And then from there, we are able to analyze your assessment performance. And from those following steps, you have safer, smarter infrastructure. And then at that stage, we can then start thinking about sustainability and resilient roads. So the technological advancements that we have in Australia and have been mentioned here today are the iPave. We also have the iSave, the NSV, and the iLine. I'm sure you've seen this dashboard earlier from my colleague's presentation, but we are able to then provide our data in a way that is usable to the end user, however you need it processed. And so this is a potential visualization of the platform, but depending on the client, we can change this to suit your needs. Now, the extent of our coverage is 100% of Australia. I know it is currently missing South Australia, but we are currently surveying, and that we are reaching over 1 million kilometres worth of our network that we have surveyed. So in Australia, we have over 900,000 kilometres, and the percentage of that that is sealed is only 39%. And the point of this case study is about right treatment, right place, and right time, because that is how you save money ultimately. There's no point of applying a treatment that isn't needed or at the wrong place. So what does this all mean? So this is a case study from the Victorian floods in October 2022. And this was a 1 in 200-year flooding event. I know it rains a lot more here in India, but it doesn't rain that often in Australia. So this flooding event occurred in inner city Melbourne and the northern regions of Victoria. And it was reported that over 500 homes were inundated, and the Victorian State Emergency Services issued over 169 major flood warnings from the 12th to the 17th of October. This is what it looked like in Victoria, and we're not used to this amount of rain. And this is what had happened to our roads and our networks. Once the water receded, this is the condition of our roads and our bridges. Now, we did have road agencies carry out an audit of their state managed roads, prioritizing the motorways and areas of critical safety maintenance repair crews. However, that is only a temporary fix because we have to wait until drier conditions before we are able to repair our roads. So we were engaged by the Victorian state government to analyse and help them triage how to then, when the weather dried, how to then maintain their roads. So this is a map of Victoria identifying the roads that they asked us to survey. And the reason why they had asked NTRO to survey is in 2021, we had already surveyed their network once. And in 2022, prior to the floods, we had also surveyed their network. Now, since then, the floods had then happened. And in 2023, we were asked to resurvey. And what you can see here in the graph is in 2021, the Victorian government provided $1 billion worth of maintenance. And they were able to increase what green is good. And so they're able to increase their network from 2% good condition roads to 16%. However, after this flood event, they lost all of that. That means that there was lack of resilience in the network. So what did that mean? We were then able to give them an assessment that indicated the significant reductions in the remaining life. We analysed over 8,500 kilometres of road, and we were able to match 7,400 against previously tested data. And then we then flagged 1,180 kilometres as deteriorated. So what that meant was the cost associated for the pavement intervention works was $291 million. And they were then able to then request that of the federal government. And another project that we also do with embracing big data, this is the Black Spur in Victoria. This is a very lovely picturesque drive that I've done many times myself. And as you can see, there are a lot of trees along the sides of the roads. And very similar to some images that we've seen today, sometimes these trees along the shoulders of the road are nicknamed killer trees. Because if you were to make impact with one of these trees, unfortunately, the tree will probably survive, but you will not, neither will your car. So these are some of the incidents that have happened. Again, using our survey methods, we are able to identify which trees are unsafe to have along the shoulders. And so then from there, the road asset managers are able to remove those trees to making that road safer. We also actually wrote the guide from Austroads for harmonizing pavement markings and the national pavement marking specifications. And we have a device called the eyeline that is able to measure the retroreflectivity of these lines. And what that means for, again, the state roads is they're able to only repair roads or remark areas that require markings. So this is a map of Canberra, and you can see the current conditions of the road. So the greens are good, and yellow is areas that have a lacking of retroreflectivity, and so they're then able to then go out and manage those roads and maintain them. But why all this data? And it actually comes down to now stacking of those data. We've got a few platforms here that NTRO offer, and that is applying your safety data. And if you notice a road that has lots of incidents and accidents, you're then able to then go into our other systems and compare that of what is that road condition? Why are there many accidents happening in that space? So from there, you're able to see, is intervention required? Is different maintenance required? Do we need to add a shoulder? Do we need to change the line marking? Why are these accidents happening? So this is why we need good quality data to ensure that we are applying right treatment, right time, right place. And one of the big reasons why we are doing that in Australia is the connected and automated transport. The future is coming. And through CCAT, another sub brand of ours, we are using this to line marking is really important for connected and autonomous vehicles. Without the lines, they can't drive themselves. I know that it is a little bit different here in India. I'm not quite sure how an autonomous vehicle will drive itself here. I'm afraid to drive here. But with without line markings, autonomous vehicles are unable to drive themselves. They are using LiDAR and they need the retroreflectivity of the lines to be able to drive around. And if you don't have that, these cars aren't going to work. And I know this is well, not quite ready here in India yet, and I'm seeing a few smiles in the crowd that they know that I could not envision a robo-taxi driving around in India. And so through CCAT, we have a few programs where we have worked with defence. And the defence project on the right-hand side is the leader follower project. And so that is moving their fleet. And this was from Pakapanyu slowly towards the northern suburbs. And that is completely autonomous. The first vehicle drove and the other vehicles followed. And this is some insights that we recently achieved in China. And again, they have managed to really bring in the autonomous vehicle space. This is if it will play, an autonomous vehicle that has that. Okay, it's not going to play. Nope. So unfortunately, the video isn't playing, but this is a autonomous vehicle that will drive up, and instead of needing to be charged for an hour or two, this was a 5-minute battery swap, and this did it autonomously. So it drove up to the battery station. The battery would be taken out of the vehicle and then swapped with a new one and popped back in. And that was done in 5 minutes, which is possibly the future for connected and automated vehicles. And so the reason why we are really pushing this agenda is for the successful transition into the future. But again, I cannot stress how this investment into policy and how our roads are managed is incredibly important. We need good data, good governance to be able to move forward and to ensure, ignoring the connected and automated space, but just to ensure our roads are safe, to ensure that our roads are well managed and that when we drive around, it is a pleasurable experience. I'm sure everyone doesn't want to have to avoid a pothole every time they drive. It's already, crazy enough here in India. And so I finish with a shameless promotion to our international conference and our Transport Revolution that's happening in Port Melbourne. And I invite you all to come along and to share your insights. We hope that we do have some technical experts from India come to join us. And that is all. Thank you. I kept under time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Uh, I think the takeaway points from Ms. Juliet is the integrated infrastructure solutions driven by sustainability, driven by innovation, data collection, and she very rightly mentioned, which we all know, garbage in is garbage out. So data collection has to be the right thing. Anyway, what I request is that anybody, if have any questions or clarifications, you do have the slips. kindly write down your name and whatever your question, send the slips, and at the end, we'll take up that. With that, I would like to invite Professor P.K. Sikdar, our next presenter. Okay. So does it work? Yes, sir. It's the sound code which I. Yeah. Yes, Juliet. Now, you can just share this. Sir, आप कौन सी? Sir, आप PK Sikdar. Sound code. Yes. Sound right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay. Oh, all right. Good afternoon. I was not given any topic. I was asked to speak on road safety. So I thought I will choose this topic. Something must change for better road safety management in India. It is going from bad to worse. That's a crash took place in Tamil Nadu at a uncontrolled junction with side roads. There's another one. The crash barrier has gone into the vehicle. Of course, these are not videos, but you can see very interesting. Very interesting. Police record says reckless driving under influence of alcohol and so on and so forth. But truth is not that. Truth is different. They were not drunk. They were not overspeeding, but they couldn't see that structure. So they climbed over it. There's another one. Very interesting. You are probably thinking, how come this cyclist was saved? But that's not the point. Point I'm saying, why these guys were traveling through a intersection at a speed at which they will be traveling on a straight road. That is my question. There has to be infrastructure to compel them to reduce speed while going through the junction, raised intersection, or other speed management devices should be put in, which were not there. So, built-in safety of a road comes from geometry. It's function of geometry, and geometry is function of speed. We all know about that. So therefore, safety is to be derived from safe design. Then only it will be safe. Otherwise, no safety. Road safety expert and highway design engineers must understand one very important thing. Safety can be built into the highway or road only if he or she understands that road, road safety is a blend of art and science. It is science because we have to use scientific principle to design the road, the super elevation, all other things, curve radius, everything based on science. And he has to understand it is art because he must anticipate, he should understand how the road user is going to use this facility, what he is going to design. So, unless he understands how the road users are likely to use his design, he will make mistakes. He will make something, people will make nonsense out of it. That's the problem. Therefore, safety in design is to be provided by self explaining road
forgiving roadside by selecting the most desirable design standards which will be safe for the road users, not by adopting minimum standard. All the standards, guidelines are the minimum that is required. Safety requires more than that. Safety is not satisfied by this minimum requirement. It demands more than that. So we'll have to design it with all that. It must be accepted that safety needs more than what is given in the design standards. Safe road infrastructure to be designed safe. Firstly, safety engineering principles are to be adopted fully, considering what extra is required for safety. And then it should be audited
Hello.
during the development stages. All stages it is to be audited, not just IWASH audit by so-called auditors. It should be truthful audit, fulfilling the objective and implementing the audit recommendations. Then only it will get to safety. To be built as well as maintained safe. Not that we build only safe roads. Unless we maintain, it will be unsafe. It has to be maintained safe as well. And the existing facilities are used in an unsafe way only because they are not designed safe. It invites unsafe use. They are forced to use it in an unsafe way. And that's why, or they are provoked to use it unsafe way, in another way to say it. Principles of safer road design, we all know. We have to warn, inform, guide, control, forgive. All that is known to all of us, and we must not leave any surprise for him. It must be told in advance, you are coming to a curve, you are approaching a junction. Everything must be told to him in advance. No surprise should be kept for him. Reasons for poor safety in road network is there. Therefore, design deficiencies surely. Poor road user behavior is another big question. And third is also weak enforcement. Of course, there are others which I have not listed here. The consequences are actually visible through our crash data year after year. This is the latest crash data that we have, 2022. And as you can see, 461,000 crashes occurred, 168,000 people were killed, injury was 443,000. This is 22 and it shows 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Of course, 2 years 2021 was bad because of the COVID. Road traffic were far less. Obviously, values are little less. But if you consider 19 to 22, that kind of progression is scary. And I have put in a figure for 2023, which I get scared to say that even. That is really scary figure. Now, to look into the road users, different types of road users who are getting killed, who are getting affected by these road crashes. As you can see here, this is from the ministry's data, which is published. The pedestrian, bicyclist, two-wheelers, auto rickshaw, and other non-motorized vehicle together constitute 72.2%. And if we add the other animal drawn vehicles, etc., in the last line, and out of that, if we add 5%, it becomes 75 to 77% of all fatalities are to poor people. Injustice, literal injustice in a way. The top 10 states who are really bad in road safety, which constitute 73% 74% of fatalities in the country. If we declare war on these 10 states, we should declare war on road safety of these states. We will get relief by 74%. That's what is required. We are sitting in Chhattisgarh today, and that's what the arrow shows, the story of Chhattisgarh, which is not behind these 10. It's pretty close to the 10 states. If we look into a little bit more closely, what are the causes? You see, it is branded overspeeding, 75.2% overspeeding. Who was present in that situation of crashes that he is calling it overspeeding? Was he present? These are all wrong data. This cannot be overspeeding 75%. This is easy way. No investigation is required. Tell it overspeeding, finish. So easy. So simple option has been adopted. Driving on wrong side, contraflow, is the second major cause. What have we done for that? It's serious, really serious. I mean, we are questioning overspeeding, no doubt. That probably will be 40, 50%, 30%, whatever it is. There will be other causes, vehicle failure, this failure, that's fine. But driving in the wrong direction is a serious one, serious offense. And that's growing. You see, 2021, 2022, it is 5% fatalities to 5, 5% grown to 5.8%. 23, it may be 7%. So, what are the means to arrest it? Are we thinking about it? Two-wheeler population is 80% in some places of the country. And fatality of two-wheeler riders has grown from 2012. As you can see, it is 75,000. 45% of all fatalities of 168,000 is for two-wheelers, motorized two-wheelers. It is really sad. I mean, it's very sad. But that apart, last 20 years, India lost 25 to 30 lakh people in road crashes, which is really an alarming figure. One of the main problem is that we do not know our road safety problem very well. We know very little about it, the road safety problem. I want to prove that to you. In the management parlance, they say what you cannot measure, you cannot manage. You will not manage. So we have not measured our road safety very well. Therefore, we will not manage. And that's what is happening. And that is the primary cause of why we are not able to get a hold on it. I want to explain it through this figure. This is the iceberg. We can see only the tip of the iceberg, 5 or 10% of the iceberg. Rest all is not visible. It is under the sea. I have drawn that road safety iceberg here. And as you can see, in the developed world, what data they collect is shown on the left hand side. For one death, there is 15 major injuries, 70 minor injuries. That means one death is to 85 injuries. In our 22 data says 168,000 deaths, injuries 443, 1 is to 2.6. 1 is to 2.6 only. So you just imagine how little we know about our road safety. That indicates how little we know about road safety. How can we solve our road safety if we know so little about it? Infrastructure has glaring problems. Unattended design deficiencies, implementation flaws, network management deficiencies, road user behavior, that means enforcement of the law. Now I want to show you few figures, but without malice to none. Without malice to none, I am showing few examples. Here is a 4-lane divided road. At the top, there is a bridge, major bridge, and from there, road is coming down. How can a 4-lane road with 100 km/h design speed can be designed like this? An intersection on national highway. Look at the median opening. It's 80 to 100-meter wide, like a football field. Vehicles move anywhere they like. It's free for all. How can you make it safe? My God, the huge number of people crossing 4-lane, 5-lane road on one side of the road. In the other side, again, they will have to cross this many lanes. There is no overpass, underpass. This is serious, serious problem. Why the vulnerable road user was 77%, you can understand from this figure. Look at this. Whoever has painted is painted in the middle of the junction. Pedestrian crosswalk is not painted there. It has to be here to give them the pedestrian refuse. This location is known to many of you, Surya River Bridge, Cyrus Mistri's place where he met with an accident. Look at this roundabout. We are inviting him to go like that. Unless you design it right, he will make it easy for him. And that's what he's making. Look at this sign. Where are the 6 lanes? I don't find 6 lanes. That's not right. And above all these, there are road user behavior. I show you only a couple of them. Look at this. My God, 7 people on one motorcycle, and only one is very important with headgear. My God, they made it 2 tire. They've made it 2 tire now. Look at this. My God, horrible situation in two-wheeler. We can continue with these examples till tomorrow morning if you are ready through the night. Global Road Safety Facility said beautifully, money is going to be spent whether you make roads, whether the roads are built safe or not. If you make safe road, it will cost you more money. If you don't make safe roads, you will pay through nose through the accidents. So it is beautiful. India loses more than 10 lakh crores of rupees every year through their road crashes. Many development programs are deprived by this loss. We should build always the safe roads for giving. Where did I get this 10 lakh crore? You see, this is IREP web-based tool where they have taken the data of the crash profiles of India, what kind of crashes takes place from WHO. And based on these data, proportioning type of medical treatment, expenses, etc., they have estimated. It's a web-based tool. The reference is given, IRAP. Now, 2,900 crore per day is the loss. Annual loss is 10 lakh 58,000 crores every year. National highway, state highway, expressway account for 2/3 of all crashes and fatalities. There is serious equity issue, which I said earlier in relation to the road safety, as more than 3/4 of all casualties from road crashes are to the vulnerable road users.
Sir, please conclude.
Yeah, WHO said that life and health cannot be exchanged with any other benefits. We may say that we are providing them mobility, accessibility, but by giving that, you cannot take their lives. That's not permitted. For systematically improving the road safety, we will need safe systems approach. Without safe system, nothing will happen. That's the safe systems approach. Most of you probably know, so I'll not go through that. That's another another way to show the safe systems approach. Now, this is what is very interesting. The John Hopkins University did research for evolution of road safety, and they said that to have the safe systems approach, you will have to strengthen the road safety pillars first. You should have road safety management capacity. Without that, you cannot go to safe systems approach. These 5 E's are required, and then only you will get road safety. Together, they will provide. That's why it says for coordinated approach, there is desperate need of 3 things. First thing is road safety management capacity. Second thing is bigger road safety management capacity. And third thing is even bigger road safety management capacity is required. Why road safety is not improving in India? A road safety board was recommended by Sundar Committee in 2007 and 8. It is not implemented till date. Cabinet has already approved it, but it should be like a separate ministry with separate budget line, with independent budget. Everything for road safety is to be handled by that board in a coordinated way, including the emergency response. Not that the road design will be one thing and emergency response will be something else. They have to do it coordinated way, and then only. So like that, everything else is there. There is no result oriented program till date because this coordinating body is not there. There are many other reasons listed here. There is a road safety action plan which is to be implemented, but probably very few are interested in that. This is a situation, an elderly couple died in Jamuna Expressway. This is an expressway, 160-kilometer long expressway, Delhi to Agra. 2 people died, one survived with major injuries. Hundreds of such accidents. This is the accident like in the night time, a truck is parked on the lane itself of the expressway, and a motor vehicle, a car, gone and hit it, gone inside it, below it, and 2 people dead, one survived. Now, hundreds of such accidents occurred all over the country day after day in several years. Nothing has changed till date. My suggestion, exemplary punishment is required for offenders. Then only it will change. Our Indian way of doing things for road safety is probably something like this. We have plenty of knowledge, plenty of resources to tackle the problem, but we are doing it in wrong way. Doing it wrong way. We need one ladder, but we have many. You don't have to drive. I leave you with one last message. You don't have to drive a car or a motorcycle to cause an accident. Somebody might think, why, how it can happen. Any of our irresponsible behavior will cause and be reason for a road crash. Look at this. The wife has called the husband. Husband is always driving, already driving, returning from office, and he was attending to her call.
You don't have to be in a car to cause a crash. Think. The moment you know they're driving,
Silence.
kill the conversation.
The moment you understand at the other end somebody is driving, stop it. Never spend an extra second. Never ever do that. That's the message. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I think we all know about the road safety issues, but very well explained and highlighted. And I'm sure we all, um, those who are in engineering profession and highways, are trying their best. And anyway, it's an eye opener, the data you are saying. And we have to continue to work on this within our whatever sometimes financial constraints, sometimes land availability, sometimes driver behavior. Uh, but anyway, an eye opener. Thank you very much. So our next presenter is engineer J. Granny R. Jalad. He is from Road Development Authority of Sri Lanka, special planner and transport infrastructure. And I was looking at his visiting card. He is also president-elect of the Institute of Engineers of Sri Lanka. So congratulations for that. So
Thank
floor
you.
is yours.
Thank you, Chairman and co-chairman and other presenters on the head table. And ladies and gentlemen, good evening to everybody. In fact, uh, my presentation today is little different one. I really thought to share some information what really occurred in an expressway when we start to introduce electronic toll collection method. We have a series of expressways, but to start with, we start electronic toll collection into one link. But before that, just go through about the contents. I will just summarize a little bit about the evolution of the toll roads in Sri Lanka, the history a bit, and then comes to the existing toll road network and the future road network. And the tolling system, we have manual and electronic toll collection. And just to say you why I start this study and the use of perspectives, just to give an understanding about the road network of the country. So we have A class, B class, C class, like that. D class and E class also put together amounting to 126,000. But when you get the total area of the land and divided, then it comes around 1.92 kilometers per square kilometer. I think India also, to my knowledge, is much closer to the density. So the road network, what you can see is there. Then we will just move to the toll roads also in this small country having 65,000 square kilometer. But we started with E1, E2, E3, and E4, E6. And these are the lengths. And in fact, the first toll road E1 was opened in about 13 years old, 13 years earlier. So its length was 126. And the most recent toll road E04 was opened in 2022 January, but it's just about 36 kilometers long. The main design philosophy of the transport planning was to keep the Colombo as the center and to radially outward to design the roads, expressways radially outward from the center of the capital. So coming back to the main point, uh, the E03 was the one expressway about 27 kilometer. Why we selected that one? That's the only expressway that connect the Colombo and the international airport. So we selected that expressway, and we in fact, initially it was MTC, means it had a manual toll collection method, like obvious, it is very obvious. Then we did a calculation, and we recognized unless we didn't have at least one electronic gate by 2014, then definitely the manual gate won't be able to cater the traffic demand, and it will create unnecessary queue lengths. So the design calculation, though I didn't include it here, so those slides I escaped, but I am summarizing. So we decided eventually in June 2015, we introduced one electronic gate to each and every plaza, one gate, but we kept others manual. And one gate electronic is able to cater for 1,110 vehicles per hour. In our manual, our experience, it was around 280 vehicles per hour. Okay. What really happened, what you can see when we introduced the electronic toll system in 2015, Up to 2016, just about 12 months, it was a very enthusiastic for the users. They were very interested. But you can see here in the first month, second month, third month, we went up to 850 vehicles per month, the registration. But in 2017, you can see it came down to 470 vehicles. And in 2019, it was only 17.8 out of the total users of that particular expressway. So though we introduced electronic toll in the design office, but in reality, the situation or what we observed was totally different. So what happened was ETC gates were under capacity. And as in under capacity in the sense it's really accommodate about 25% of the capacity. So eventually what happened was the decision, what I am coming, why we decided now there is a problem. So we thought decision rules, the existing growth prediction models had been unable to address the issue. So we thought, what shall we do? What you can see in the picture is the total queue, but the ETC gates are under capacity. So we decided to explore the decision influence in variables. What would really be the reason? What these people who are waiting in the MTC queue, what they are going to say? So we decided to carry out a socio-demographical survey to assess the possible correlation if there are. So with the help of the university students also, we conducted a survey. Then what we found, a survey was conducted in 2019. This is after 5 years the ETC was introduced to graphs the most salient socio-demographical and socio-economical variables of the non-ETC users, why they are giving up at manual gates rather than when they very clearly see the ETC path is very clear, no congestion. Then what the outcome, what you can see here, more than 86 the expressway users were employed staff. And again, out of the MTC, that is manual toll gate users, didn't provide this analysis about the profession. We got that one also to some or other collect whether the profession had a correlation for that one. We didn't come much conclusive remark in that, but the histogram's highest one, it says the business. And when you see the lower one, it says more than 74% were cars. In our country also, that's the major thing. Those who can afford to pay the toll fee, they use that one. But in those expressways, we need to introduce the public bus also. But it's not really happened. But in this one, it's very much lesser percentage. Going a little bit further, the first one says, according to the vehicle ownership, more than 70% were privately owned cars and vans. Those are the huge volume that had been occupied the expressway. And out of the MTC users, when we asked about the frequency of usage, there were more than 50%, 57% daily MTC users. That's quite very interesting. That means out of the expressway users, 57% is still daily users. They are 50%, 57% are is still not ready to use electronic. Still, they go for the manual queue. And at the same time, what we really did to promote or to some or other encourage, we introduced 10% rebate for those who get the electronic toll. Then what we found, almost 70% of the MTC users at the time we conduct the assessment, they were not aware about that one. In our country also, then we decided, we proposed the government, okay, we may make use of the television or the state media during the peak time, some or other, to teach them the wasting of time is happening because of the MTC. But really what happened, that was not successful, or they were not willing to do. So that there are the obvious reasons we found are listed here. But I have already, I think I already mentioned those in one by one. Then eventually, before coming here, I thought before when I submit the abstract to the IRC, then I thought by the time I had done in August 2024 this year, another survey to find out what is the situation now. When compared to 2019, we had 25,000 total throughput of that expressway, and average total daily throughput had come down to 12,000 now. But for that one, Chairman, it has a very valid reason, because after 2020, after 2020, with the COVID pandemic caused our Sri Lankan economy is still, we are having the same problem of drastically it had come down. So that would have been reason people had kept away. And the ETC users also had come down from 2248 per day. That is only 18.7 users of the ETC. So it's still 9,750 MTC daily users is still not switched to the MTC. So other significant issue recognized was the whole network doesn't have the ETC facility. It was one reason, even though the 300 or the whole network is there, but only particular main link, only one link had been provided with the ETC, then the users might have a concern on that one. Another thing is one major factor for this reduction would have been the fall in economy of the country since 2020. And the existing ETC, the passive RFID system installed in 2014 is now experiencing system issues, losing reliability among users. When it comes now, what you can see, so the improvement we suggested were to introduce online ETC application process was launched in 2022. At least to encourage the people not to come to the center, but they can upload the applications online. Then users need to visit only once to fix the ETC tag. Facility to top up the ETC accounts via gateways of other banks also. When they introduced, they told that only the government bank could, you can use only the government payment gateway. But then also, it was also would have been one reason that the people kept away, because we don't have the government account. So that was, but now it was lifted. And like I mentioned, the media and the social media support. Then I turned back to this way also. I thought to look into the India, my close neighboring country. I am apologize if the information are not 100% correct, but I collected those information. India toll road 25,000 kilometers at the moment. And you introduced ETC in 2014. And since December 2017, FASTag made compulsory for all vehicles sold in India. You have made it by rules and regulation. We didn't go to the rules and regulation. We allow the people to decide. Then India, with effect from 1st December to 2019, FASTag means, I think, it's almost similar to free flow. FASTag made compulsory, and MTC users were charged double. That's also, I think, our countries have that culture. I think only the rules and regulation very strictly enforced. The poor might suffer more, but still, he might take a little time to join. Then since 15 December 2019, in India, FASTag ETT was made 100% compulsory. So yet they have opened one hybrid lane to keep it for some time as a transition measure. So the conclusive remark, then the decision rules of the existing growth model prediction models had really been unable to address the context-sensitive local issues the time that we decided those things. So the mobility decisions are correlated with socio-economically sensitive parameters. Whether to use or whether to not to use is depend on other parameters rather than the parameters being considered for the growth models. So the government is now planning to launch a multi-lane free flow system and make it compulsory disability with effect on 2027. And so make it compulsory schemes need the transition period plus a hybrid gate per plaza and the social media and the state media support to keep the people uh, knowledgeable about the system. Okay, thank you very much. This is a very socio-economical thing that was not in the literature, but we have to consider those things. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Sir, what you have highlighted actually in our country or all developing countries, initially when you start this PPP model and start collecting toll, so these are teething troubles. We have faced that in India also, which you are facing, but there is a silver lining is there. People slowly realize that it is for the betterment of it, and they slowly adopt this. Another, I would like to share with you, I'm dealing with a lot of projects in neighboring countries. Like Africa, the development of road is required much more than, let's say, in India. But funds are not there and still PPP projects have not started. They are mostly dependent on World Bank funding, ADB, African Development Bank. But slowly they have started realizing that PPP model has to be adopted in all our developing countries. Otherwise, it is not possible to bring funds from the central government or the treasury to develop these roads. So in India, in the last 25 years or so, it has been a success story in PPP projects. So don't lose heart, sir. In your country also, it will be a success story. So with that, then I'd like to invite Professor and Dr. Dharamveer Singh, this Professor Civil Engineering, IIT Bombay. टाइम चेंज हो गया टाइम चेंज हो गया
First of all, a very good evening to all of you. I know you all are tired, but this is the last presentation of today's. And first of all, I would like to uh, convey my greetings to chairman and co-chairman and all the presenters here. Uh, I would like you to just cheer up a little bit. Looks like a very dull environment actually. Yeah. You are here to learn something. So no, like we have to you need to be excited. So this particular presentation is going to tell you about something about the new developments and also what kind of construction practices that we have evolved in last few years in India. We are talking about sustainability, and when we talk about that, in my personal opinion, this particular word is a buzzword in the construction field I'm talking about. Because when you talk about the technologies, when you talk about the practices, everybody says that we have to have the sustainable approach actually. But you know what are the limitations? What kind of challenges that you are going to see? Now, see the first thing here. many part of the India, and I can give the examples, there are no aggregates. Aggregates are not available at all. Either you have to bring it maybe around 100 or 200 kilometers far away, or you have to have certain different approach altogether. So this is the big challenge that we have been facing right now. Second thing is, we have been keep on comparing ourselves that we have to adopt the guidelines from some other countries or implement it and then use it as it is, whatever it is actually. But remember, the kind of traffic and the kind of climatic condition plus the construction practices that we have been following, what kind of quality, what kind of construction practices that we are following, it's completely different actually. So we need to very, very careful about that. Other thing is the premature failures. In spite of following all kind of guidelines and excellent designs as per the mathematical calculations, in spite of that, you see a lot of failures coming up. So it means there are something different that we have to think about. And this is what we are going to talk, that what is exactly something different that we need to do. Construction time. We have to do the fast construction. Let me give the example, very simple example about the embankments. You see, when you are constructing a pavement, the embankment height at some project can be 5 to 6 meters. And you are in a rush to complete the project as fast as possible. And sometimes it's possible that you are constructing even 1 meter layer, since nobody is going to see that, and you go ahead actually. But the results comes out after certain years. And your development is going to backfire. It means this is not a sustainable approach that we are adopting actually in terms of that. Other thing is the lack of skilled manpower. I think today, in fact, in the beginning, Puri Saab mentioned that we don't have any issue with the machineries. World-class machinery that we have in India, world-class machineries. How do you utilize them? How do you use them? What kind of construction practices that you have to follow? Those are the critical points actually. So it's not about the machinery, it's about the practices that we have to follow. And I will show you the flow chart later on actually, what we're supposed to do. So these are the basic issues that we are facing. You see, when we talk about the quality, we also see this kind of photographs. We see the failures. Somebody says the bituminous payments are good, somebody says the concrete payments are good, but we have seen both payments are failing quickly. Sometimes within a couple of years, sometimes within a couple of months as well actually. So if you construct the new road, and if this happens, it means the approach is not sustainable actually. We are again keep on constructing the things, and you can keep on seeing the photographs actually. And this is the bituminous pavement. See the beautiful diagrams of the potholes coming up actually. How it is going to go. See the concrete pavement also at the same time. It's not like the failure is happening to certain kind of payments. It's all kind of payment that you have been talking about actually. Now the immediate thought comes, what did happen actually, and what kind of solution that we can find. When I have seen the tendency among industry people that you, if it is bituminous pavement, do the milling, do the overlay, job is done. Again, distresses are coming. Again, you do the same thing. Again, keep on doing actually. But concrete payments are much more difficult. Either you keep as it is, whatever is going on, or you keep on suffering yourself. And we have so many examples that we have been really struggling to maintain the road networks actually. So this is the problem. What we are doing right now, a lot of failures are coming up. We have been designing the payment, like sometimes very uneconomical payments also. We need to be innovative in the terms. It's not necessary that what other people are doing somewhere in the world, we have to really follow the same. You can think of something different altogether. We have also seen, in fact, all the practitioners are here. Sometimes the unrealistic data has been assumed actually. And we have seen that, for example, the traffic. In the beginning, somebody is assuming the vehicle damage factor is around 4 or 5. But when the road is constructed and it failed, And suddenly the same agency comes and say that the VDF has gone or vehicle damage factor has gone maybe 15. That's supposed to be there actually. It means you have not done the homework actually correctly. There has to be certain approach that we have to adopt, that how do we take care of that. Proper training, I usually emphasize on the training actually. No training to the engineers. Engineers are trained, they can understand that. But engineers to your crew members, those who are really constructing the roads, the plant people, the roller guys, the paver guys, the quality control people, those who are in the field actually. They are the real people, those who are maintaining the quality actually. So that's what we have to be very, very careful. Sometimes the overlay design, and I will show you a couple of examples later on that what kind of things are there, new technologies, and I will show you that what we have been doing in India and what can be done actually. I mean, just think about that. And I will show you the example of both bituminous pavement as well as concrete pavement. Let's talk about first technologies, milling and recycling. And milling and recycling is happening on many projects. In fact, I am very strong supporter of this particular technology. And definitely you need to think about that, whether it is cold recycling or hot recycling. You need to find out what is the most appropriate for your project actually. And we have seen many contractors or many agencies, they are very afraid of doing that actually. The reason is because they are not trained on that. Sometimes they are not very confident that whether they are really going to get the quality or not actually. But this kind of practices are there all over the world. So we have to think about that. Second thing, you have to think about the kind of the payment preservation techniques. Lot many projects are happening nowadays where the overlay is there, the micro surfacing is there, the thin overlay is also coming up. Innovative solutions, something innovative that we have to come up with. Whether you have certain thin layer or something else actually. Right payment, right time, by right people actually. It's not about the any payment, any technique by anybody actually. So you need to do your homework, that what you can think about actually. Now let's talk about the kind of different material, and it's like happening in India. It's not like I'm just showing you that that can be done. We are already doing all these kind of works actually. For example, polymer modified binders. Some people are talking about hybrid binders. Some people are thinking about crumb rubber modified binders or hybrid crumb rubber modified binders. Waste plastic is also there. The whole purpose is we want something which can survive at least for 10 to 15 years. Or we can minimize the kind of cost that we are keep on incurring every couple of years actually. That is the whole purpose. Material is one side, machinery is one side, but the paving practice is other side actually. What kind of practices that we are following in the field? How are you constructing? How your team is trained on that? You have the good materials, you have the good design, you have good machineries, but if your paving practices are not correct, definitely nothing is going to work out actually. So you need to really think about that, what kind of paving practices that we have to follow. Alternate materials, there are a lot many alternate materials have come in the market now. In fact, people are really exploring that what kind of alternate material that we can think about actually. For example, biobinder is there, or maybe alternate materials coming up, slag is there, or fly ash is there, GGBS. In fact, we are going to talk about that. New payment design, and this is what I really wanted to put focus on. That sometimes I have seen industry people, they don't want you to deviate from the whatever is happening actually. And I usually encourage that you think unconventional sometimes, because that can help us. We have not done it doesn't mean that it will not work. We have to find out our local solutions, what problem that we have been facing, and what we have been learning from our failures actually. Perpetual payment, innovative designs, new combinations, what kind of new designs that we can do, what kind of, in fact, many presentations were there in this particular hall during the last couple of days. Many things are there actually. I will not go into detail all these kind of things. Certain new advancement is also coming up. For example, people are talking about the recycling, stabilization, by the way. Can we do the stabilization for the concrete pavement? Can we do the kind of rehabilitation technique for the concrete pavement? What kind of technique we have to use actually? What kind of technological aid that we have to do. For example, GPR is there, intelligent compaction is also there. So these are I think they are going to help us. But at the same time, we have to be capable of handling them properly. Otherwise, you will keep on generating the data, keep on putting them somewhere, and things will keep on going in a different direction. Now let's talk about the concrete payment actually. Couple of slides. Remember, I don't know if you do the calculation of the water consumption for the concrete payment, and in the area where there is no water actually. Remember in the beginning I talked to you about the aggregates. Think about the water also at the same time. And if you do the calculation of the water consumption for the concrete payment, from the production to the curing, and then again, like you're cutting and all actually. Huge production, there is a high consumption of the water. You need to think something alternative on that. What can be done? How do I cut down that actually? What kind of technique that we can use? What kind of fuel that I can use for the production and all actually? In fact, in the exhibition also, I saw the alternate material for the dowel bars, for the tie bars that has not been tried actually on many projects. Can we think about that? Early opening to the traffic. And we have seen many agencies, they want early opening to the traffic. They don't want you to wait for 21 days or 2 days. In fact, for the city traffic, you need to do the curing maybe hardly 2 days. How do I do that? What kind of approaches that we can utilize so that we can think about that? And many other new techniques are also there that you can think about actually. Again, new development is also there in area of concrete pavement. In fact, I see a couple of presentations also that what kind of innovation that we can think about. How do I rehabilitate the concrete pavement? And this has been becoming major challenge now for us actually. Many concrete pavement highways, it requires certain kind of overlays. Whether I can put the bituminous overlays, or I need to put the concrete overlays, or I need to leave as it is actually. So that's what we need to think about, that what we can do on that actually. Then comes the data collection. And by the way, I think in one of the presenter also showed the data collection, the NSV, the polymer deflectometer. We have been collecting huge data right now actually. How do we utilize them? What kind of the mechanism that we have been going to follow for the kind of better management of the road network? And the last couple of few slides, training and tools actually. Please emphasize your people to get trained, get up to date about that actually. What kind of things are happening all around? World is changing, technologies are changing, so definitely you need to think that what can be done actually. You need to bring certain changes in your DPR, because I find that document is very, very valuable. You have to have a lot of things inside the inbuilt into the DPR itself actually. Yeah. And this is the last slide, and I really find it quite interesting that whatever technology that you are thinking and whatever advancement that you are thinking, make sure you understand the technology. In fact, I can give you multiple examples. Technology was adopted, it failed, bad name is given to the technology now. And nobody is going to follow that again ever actually. Technology is not bad. How do I utilize them? Recycling, stabilization, perpetual payment, PMB, CRMB, lot of things are there. Understand that, technical support, training, collect data. We have seen people do the technology implementation, then forget about it actually. Please retrain your network, again bring it back, and then go forward actually. I think this is what been happening, and I'm happy to know that many of the things are happening in India, good as well as bad. Both things are happening, but I am very hopeful in the maybe future we are in the right direction. And I see many people are here, those who are already involved in doing a lot of innovative work actually. And with that, thank you very much and I appreciate your patience.
Thank you, Professor. I think you have touched on important, very important thing, but uh, let me share with you that in recent times now, all the contracts, they give this option to the contractors and the concessionaires that to use innovative designs, advanced technologies. Let me share. Recycling is now being done. Is very common. Recycling on this thing. Bonded rigid payments. Now even code has come. So just to reduce the use of natural aggregates, So all these things, are now coming up and is being accepted by the profession. And yeah, sure, with your, um, research, what you do in institutes, and you share with the profession, and profession is now, I can only say to the researchers and the professor that the profession is now open. It is not with closed mind, which used to be 20, 30 years back, that whatever existing guidelines are going, we have to work like that only. Now, with all this young generation, everybody is open to adopt new technology, adopt new things. So, uh, we have received one query or question, or I would say a suggestion from Sudama Singh Yadav, Executive Engineer, UPPWD Lucknow. Thank you, sir, for that. I think your issue, what you have raised, is that Professor साहब के लिए है. Uh, Road safety is not only due to poor design, uh, but because of, driving unskilled, untrained drivers. So that is one issue, and it is balancing because there are many factors. So yeah, we all know that as per the media report, I can say 70 to 80% of the crashes, accidents are due to the driving. Of course, geometric failures and all that. And what you are suggesting is that uh, the young people before even at the age of 18, they should be given training in the driving. I can only say it is not in the domain of IRC that the driving goes in different, but I would surely send it to IRC, and IRC can send it to. There is one International Road Federation which goes into safety. Maruti has this, Honda Motor, they are doing in, this, their social, corporate social responsibility, CSR. So they are doing this thing, but good point raised by you, and we will surely sort it. You want to say anything? Mike, please. Anybody? Mike, please, DJ.
हेलो
हाँ,
सर। एक्चुअली हर मंथ जो है प्रत्येक महीने में यूपी में डीएम के द्वारा एक मीटिंग आयोजित की जाती है
जी,
रोड सेफ्टी ब्लैक स्पॉट्स के बारे में।
जी,
और हमेशा ब्लेम जो है वो रोड एजेंसीज को दे दिया जाता है, लेकिन कभी भी ये नहीं किया जाता है कि जिसको हमको ट्रेनिंग देनी है तो 18 साल के लड़के घर से मोटरसाइकिल सीखे रोड पर आ गए, ड्राइविंग किसी घर से सीख लिए, कोई एजेंसी ने उनको ट्रेन नहीं किया, ट्रैफिक रूल्स ट्रैफिक साइंस का उनको साइन का कोई नॉलेज नहीं है। कभी वो बोले कॉलेजों में जाकर इसको स्कूल्स में बता दो, 10+2 में बता दो। वो बेसिक चीज सर जो कौशल मिशन योजना चल रही है सरकार की, या कोई भी योजना चल रही है, मनरेगा चल रहा है कि हमको रोजगार प्रोवाइड करना है यूथ को या ये करना है, उसी में एक पॉलिसी बनाकर ड्राइविंग का हो जाता कि 18th ईयर्स पर जब एज अटेंड कर रहा है तो उस बच्चे को एक ड्राइविंग की ट्रेनिंग 2 महीने की दे दिया जाए, ब्लॉक लेवल पर ऐसे करके एक मैनेज कर दिया जाए। क्योंकि प्राइवेट एजेंसी से हम लोग ट्रेनिंग लेते हैं, कोई गवर्नमेंट एजेंसी है नहीं, और लाइसेंस बनाने चले जाते हैं, लाइसेंस मिल जाता है, और उनको ट्रैफिक साइंस का साइन का पता नहीं होता है कि हमको जो है रोड से मेन रोड पर करना है, तो हम पहले जो लिंक रोड है वो पहले मेन रोड वाले को जाने दे तब लिंक रोड का जाए। पता चला वो गली से आ रहा है, तुरंत चला गया, वो दोनों तरफ देखा नहीं कि उस पर जो है ट्रैफिक जा रहा है। इसके कारण से भी एक्सीडेंट होते हैं सर।
जय
तो
जी।
इसलिए मैं बोला कि उनको ट्रेनिंग जो है बहुत बढ़िया सजेशन है सर। अगर कॉलेज में या कहीं भी कहने से नहीं होगा, इसको इम्प्लीमेंट करने से होगा सर। एक पॉलिसी बना करके कोई भी हो यूथ को एक ट्रेनिंग दे दिया जाए, उससे उनको रोजगार भी मिलेगा, सो एम्प्लॉयमेंट भी होगा और एक्सीडेंट्स में भी कमी आएंगी।
दो दो इश्यूज हैं। एक तो ये है कि आपने जो डीएम वाली बात कही,
सर
तो आपको मालूम है कि सिविल इंजीनियर सबसे वीक कड़ी होती है, तो कहीं कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो जाए तो उसके ऊपर ही धार गिरती है। तो कोई बात नहीं, हमारे शोल्डर स्ट्रांग है, वी
चलिए
हैव टू टेक। दूसरा, आपने जो 18 ईयर का है,
जी
ड्राइविंग का जो 18 ईयर से पहले ड्राइविंग वो कर नहीं सकता, उसको लर्निंग लाइसेंस ही 18 में मिलता है।
सर
तो लर्निंग लाइसेंस उसको 18 में मिलेगा और उसके बाद करेगा, बट आपकी ये आईआरसी में हम फॉरवर्ड कर देंगे
थैंक यू सर
एंड हो जाए।
committee is there in every district, headed in the collector and board there at the national level, which looks onto the road safety. Similarly, at the state level, there are other agency like accident response system in the state and other NGOs. The need of the hour is that we have to integrate all these effort. Like if the accident takes place, everybody is there to save the life and to minimize the accident or not to reoccur the accidents. Only thing is that if all these efforts are in different directions. So using this platform, if IRC can take a lead to integrate all these efforts, I know that thing that for the accident response system, even for the IRC, under the IRC, there are so many agencies like NHAI, state PWD, at the various level, and more so other agency like that. Everybody has got ambulance at every toll plaza. Nobody knows the telephone number of the toll plaza or the ambulance, how to call that ambulance to the road accident victim. Because there are so many things that we don't know the location from where it is to be called, or we don't know the location of the accident spot.
Yeah,
So if we integrate all these effort, like the we have got various call centers. Dial 100 for the police, 108 for the ambulance, 1033 for the ambulance of the NHAI, and 1099 is ambulance for the state owned services. So like there's so many. As a road accident victim or the road to support the road accident victim, if I have to call somebody, I don't know where to call.
very right. I
So
think a very good point raised. But right in the first presentation by Miss Juliet, she started with the integrated infrastructure solutions. That is what exactly you are saying, and that is what she had highlighted in the first sentence itself. So we all understand,
yes, sir.
and I think that is what these technical sessions are there.
Yes,
That
sir.
all these recordings are going to go IRC, and IRC committees will go into this. All these suggestions, presentations will be considered, and obviously solutions will be found.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Anybody else?
Sir, may I add to it whatever he said?
Sure.
Sir, actually now when you travel on the national highway or expressway, you will
Sir,
see
ये
a number is displayed on the highways every kilometer that this is the phone number where you can contact in case of any emergency. So that is already in place.
Yeah, बोलिए sir.
सर ये मोटरसाइकिल्स टू व्हीलर्स के लिए अब हम सेपरेट लेन्स के बारे में सोच रहे हैं
जी.
और शायद उसका प्रावधान भी अब हम पीपीआर में करेंगे, ऐसा मुझे आभास हुआ।
नहीं, अभी एक HSS का कोड है,
जी
उसमें ये अभी अप्रूव हो गया है वो कोड, तो ये आ जाएगा.
आ जाएगा। तो ये सारे जितने नए प्रोजेक्ट्स हमारे अभी स्वीकृत होंगे सर आगे जाकर
जी,
के,
जी.
क्या हम उसमें मैंडेटरी इसको डाल सकते हैं कि मोटरसाइकिल्स के लिए अलग एक लेन बनाना कंपलसरी हो?
मैं कह रहा हूँ ना, कोड में अभी
आएगा।
आ गया है. As soon as that code gets printed,
जी।
so all new projects will be, liable to you. They will be eligible for this. They'll have to follow that. यहाँ कोई somebody wanted to say.
Hi, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yeah. My name is Preetham. I represent TRPL India Private Limited, and we are the service providers of hot in place recycling technology in India. You just mentioned a while ago that, I mean, these implementing these alternative or new technologies are not new nowadays. Everybody can, I mean, do this technology. But I mean, what we have been finding throughout is that although the specifications or even say the tender specifications are mentioning about these alternate technologies, but the discrepancy with the BOQ is stopping these, technologies to implement at the ground level. So how do we, solve out this difference? Because at the end of the day, the authorities looks after the BOQ, and then they go with any, for example, there are many technologies which are mentioned in the preamble of the tenders that you can implement so and so technology. But in the BOQ, let's say you can, yeah, it's mentioned only about the conventional thing. So how are you going to solve that difference, bridge the
Okay,
gap?
I'll answer. You see, when you mention BOQ, that is a item rate contract. Drawings are already fixed. When we say EPC contracts, hybrid unity, there the design is done or being submitted by the EPC contractor or the concessionaire. That their BOQ is not there. Schedule H is there, Schedule G is there. So, you are mixing the two things. Let's be clear. Now, all the major projects are on EPC or hybrid. BOQ items are very small projects are there. And I don't think in small projects of 20, 50 crore, 100 crore, there are new technologies and new actually can be used. Because whosoever consultant has prepared that, he knows all those technologies. What we are talking is 500 crore, 1000 crore, 2000, 4000. Now we have 4000, 5000 crore contracts. Now, there, obviously, whether to save money, to save material, natural resources, time, a concessionaire or the EPC contractor comes out with a new technology or new anything, everybody, engineers are open to that and they are being accepted, approved, and it is being done. But yes, in BOQ, it is not possible. BOQ is item rate contracts. Anybody else? So, uh, uh, I think we had a very useful. I would now request my co-chair, uh, Shri Manoj Shukla ji, to wrap up and give his views also for this proceedings today.
Thank you, Chairman, sir. We had four excellent presentations in this session. So, starting from the first one, that was by Ms. Juliet from NTR, Australia. So, yes, she very well explained about the sustainability and the resilient roads. How to make it, starting from the designing, then policy issues, then the management. So, and that will give an impact to make a sustainable road construction. And but some unforeseen conditions are also there, like she mentioned the flood conditions. So due to flood condition, the PCI decreased from 14% to 42%. So these are the some unforeseen conditions in our scenario also. So that we have also to take care. Then we had second lecture by Professor P.K. Sikdar. That was really very excellent lecture, and that was educative for us, informative for us. At the same time, some warning was also there in that lecture, and really how to make the road safe. So he very well explained through two equations. Safety is a function of geometry, then geometry is a function of speed. So that was a really very informative lecture. And sir, you also mentioned what you can't measure, so you how you can manage it. So that was a buzz line of this presentation. So first we have to think about that whatever we are going to design, whatever we are going to implement, we have to be in a condition to measure it. There's a data, as we have shown, the ratio between the death and the injury, that is really very high in India. So it is a really cautious and very warning concern for all of us. Then you also mentioned that life and health can't be exchanged with any other facility. That's very true, sir. Nowadays, we see a number of highways are there on the roads. Number of expressways are made. So we are requiring a lot of ROW. So that we are converting the cultivating land to the construction of the roads. That is sometimes when I travel on this road, this is also my concern also. So we have to think about some alternate methods of to require the minimum ROW while construction of national highway or expressway. And then you also mentioned that exemplary punishment is again required for the offenders. That gets so these are the takeaway from your lectures, and some policy guidelines should also be framed based on the feedback received in this presentations. This should be forwarded to IRC, and IRC should also take care, because IRC is the body which makes codal provisions and the guidelines. So that should also be taken care. Then we have another presentation by Mr. Gray, Mr. Graney on the transport infrastructure in Sri Lanka. That was also very interesting. See how to motivate to adopt the electronic toll collection system. The one is through awareness, and the other is to offer the discount. In fact, in India nowadays it is mandatory, but of course on the some highways, because India has almost 6.4 million kilometer of road network, 64 lakhs kilometer of road network. And on the, if you consider national highway and state highway, that is around 4 lakhs kilometer. So out of only few kilometers, this ETC have been implemented. But yeah, it's a good initiative by the Indian government. Then the fourth presentation was by Professor Dharamveer. That was really very nice presentation on the sustainable payment construction. And he highlighted the challenges what we face in the road construction, and he has demonstrated through photographs also that though we take all due precautions during the designing and during the construction process, but even though nowadays we are facing the premature distresses in the payments, either is the flexible payments or the rigid payments. Earlier we were thinking that if we make the rigid payment, that will be a long lasting payment. But in the recent few years, we have witnessed, I'm not going to mention the name of the roads, but higher category of roads up to the level of the national highway, state highway, or even in case of expressway also. So we have seen the premature failures. So then he suggested the solutions also. What can be the solutions? First, we have to take care all these things regarding the construction issues, the manpower issues, the machinery issues. Then the solutions also he explained, like the milling and recycling, then the use of innovative materials like polymer modified bitumen, hybrid bitumen. And my experience is that here, sir, in bituminous roads, what we observe on our national highway, a common phenomenon of rutting is observed on most of the cases. And being in CRRI, we have also investigated many projects of national highway and express highway. So there we see the thickness is appropriate, the compaction level is appropriate. So we have taken the course from the flexible payments, course of the bituminous layer, then we check the density of all the layers. These all are in order. Thickness is approved. But how the rutting is occurring? So that way we earlier we were thinking that if we lay the stone mastic asphalt as a wearing coat, then we can minimize the rutting or we can reduce the rutting. But we have witnessed even after laying the SMA also, we are observing the witnessed in within a few years only, and in some cases within a year also. So
Delhi,
that is
Delhi, Mumbai, 3, 4 packages,
yes, sir.
lot of rutting.
So sir, that way, matlab earlier we was thinking that if you go for the gap graded mix, like earlier we were thinking कि BC, the gradation of the BC layer is on the finer side. The gradation is not appropriate. We should go for a gap graded mix. But we have witnessed even if you go for a gap graded mix with the stone mastic asphalt, we are facing this problem. Really a challenge is there. So anyhow, we as a professional, we have to think about it, and we have to do some more research.
We'll find out. We can
Find out, yeah,
today.
yeah. But we have to find out the solution, sir. And then data collection is also very important, sir. Yeah. So that is all discussed in this all four presentation, and it was very informative, very knowledgeable. So I thank to all the presenters here, sir. Now,
Thank you very much. I think with this, we would like to close this technical session with thanks to all the presenters and my co-chair and the delegates who attended this thing. Thank you very much.
Beyond this session, I would like to ask a question.
Sir,
This is what Professor Dharamveer said, that technology is not substitute of everything. You need to do quality control, you need to provide trained manpower, you need to do everything else. Technology is not answer to give you good result.
okay.
Okay, थैंक यू सर।
Really, sir,
और
that is
अब
more important than the technology.
हमारी प्रथा को निभाते हुए आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, लेकिन इससे पहले एक सवाल है सर, इफ यू डोंट माइंड, छोटी समझ के माफ कर दीजिएगा। मुझे एक सवाल है, क्योंकि आप रोड एक्सीडेंट की बात कर रहे थे। आम लोग जो हैं, उन लोगों में ये चर्चा रहती है कि कुछ रोड्स जो हैं वो हॉन्टेड होते हैं, कुछ ब्रिज जो होते हैं वो हॉन्टेड होते हैं। सर, ये आपसे पूछना है, क्योंकि मैं आई एम फ्रॉम मीडिया, तो मैं लोगों को बता सकूं कि एग्जैक्टली क्या कारण होते हैं कि किसी एक विशेष रोड पर एक्सीडेंट ज्यादा होते हैं, किसी एक विशेष ब्रिज पर एक्सीडेंट या दुर्घटना होने के ये कारण होते हैं। क्या टेक्निकल इसमें कुछ रीजन रहता है सर?
वो लोकल लोकल जो यूज करने वाला है ना,
जी
local, whether it is whatever kind of you know people who are using that, they are responsible for that. It has nothing to do with technology, road, bridge, anything. किसी से कुछ नहीं है। पर किसी एरिया में अगर समटाइम्स आई टेल यू, सैंड के ट्रक्स जाते हैं एक साइड से, फॉर एग्जांपल
जी
इलीगल एक्टिविटीज कहीं होती हैं,
जी
और सर्टन अदर थिंग, और मिक्स ट्रैफिक कहीं बहुत ज्यादा है।
हम्म।
दीज आर द रीजंस, नॉट
ओके
हॉन्टिंग ऑफ दैट।
जी
आपने सुना होगा नोएडा में नहीं कोई चीफ मिनिस्टर जाता था यूपी का, अभी तो जाना शुरू कर दिया।
ठीक कह रहे हैं सर, थैंक
डरते
यू।
थे, डरते थे। रोड को ही हॉन्टिंग
और अब इसको सेशन को आगे बढ़ाते हुए एक हम समापन की ओर हैं चुके, तो हम अपने अतिथियों का सम्मान करेंगे, आभार व्यक्त करेंगे उनका यहाँ पहुंचना, अपना वक्त हमारे साथ साझा करने के लिए। मैं बुलाना चाहूंगी आईआरसीसी से शिल्पश्री जी हैं हमारे साथ, असिस्टेंट डायरेक्टर आईआरसी टेक्निकल, जो कि स्वागत करेंगी, आभार व्यक्त करेंगी हमारे इस शाम को खास बनाने के लिए, आज के इस आखिरी सेशन के लिए। सबसे पहले मैं चेयरमैन श्री एस के पुरी जी, फॉर्मर डीजी आरडीआर एंड एसएस मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ रोड ट्रांसपोर्ट एंड हाईवेज, जो कि जिनका शिल्पश्री जी सम्मान कर रही हैं, आभार व्यक्त कर रहे हैं। उसके बाद मेरी रिक्वेस्ट को चेयरमैन साहब से है, श्री मनोज कुमार शुक्ला जी, सीनियर प्रिंसिपल साइंटिस्ट सीआरआई। आभार सर आपका भी। मैं बुलाना चाहूंगी मिस जूलियट, क्लाइंट एंगेजमेंट स्पेशलिस्ट, ऑस्ट्रेलिया नेशनल ट्रांसपोर्ट रिसर्च ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, ऑस्ट्रेलिया से हमारे बीच है, और जिन्हें एक मोमेंटो और बुके से आभार व्यक्त कर रहे हैं शिल्पश्री जी। उसके बाद प्रोफेसर पी के सिकदर जी, फॉर्मर डायरेक्टर CSIR CRRI इंडिया। उसके बाद मैं बुलाना चाहूंगी श्री डैनी आर जयलाल सर को। बहुत आभार, बहुत धन्यवाद सर। मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी डॉक्टर धर्मवीर सिंह जी, प्रोफेसर सिविल इंजीनियरिंग डिपार्टमेंट, IIT बॉम्बे। थैंक यू सो मच सर। और खूबसूरत हो आप सभी की शाम। इसी के साथ बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। और कल होगी मुलाकात नए सेशंस के साथ।